Okay, good afternoon. All right, hello everyone. This is Evelina here from evelinahovic.com. Just checking the tech here to see that I'm actually live and I can see myself, which is an essential check that I'm not just talking to myself on my computer. But let me just see here. Please load up. Okay, yay, I can see myself. Okay, great stuff. Okay, well, hello and good afternoon, everyone. Yes, okay, let's officially start. So this is Evelina from evelinahovic.com, and I just wanted, I haven't been live for a while, but I actually took an intentional break from social media. And while I was still supporting my clients, of course, for the last couple of weeks, I intentionally took a break, and I'll tell you more about that. I'll tell you more about what to do when you feel stuck and how to get some clarity, because this is exactly what happened to me. And I'll just share a little bit about my journey, about my insights of what I have found in the last couple of weeks. So if you are joining me live, make sure to say hi. I'll be checking the comments on my phone as well if they're coming in, so I don't miss anything. But if you are watching the replay, then absolutely let me know what you think and share your experiences as well. So just a little bit of a background story. I at the beginning of this year, I felt a little bit, like the new year started and all those intentions and resolutions and all those big goals and all that nice and groovy, and I felt really overwhelmed and stuck in a way. I realized in the last couple of years I have a very creative brain, and which means that it's a blessing in a way, because I have lots of ideas, and I think that many of them are great ideas. The only thing is that it often leaves me very overwhelmed and not being able to really move as fast as I want to be, because my brain is just like going wild with all those things that I want to do, and that gets me into the overthinking mode, and then overthinking that the inner critic comes in and like, you're not moving fast enough, or you're not doing, you're not creating fast enough, and maybe this and maybe that, and it's just like a big mess in my head. So use of social media in for me has been, I've been using social media for years. A lot of it was for personal use, and then when I transitioned my business to an online medium, of course, social media is a big part of my business, so I use it for business and personal use. But I am my brand, I am my business, and so I constantly reevaluating how I use it, why I use it, and when I use it. And in addition to that, I have a teenage daughter who is also, social media is part of their life now. Like, we can't really run away from that. And, oh, hello. Oh, I see comments. Hey, Yvonne. Hey. Oh, it's working. I'm so happy. Great. So I'm constantly, because she's a teenager and she's on social media, I'm constantly reevaluating my usage of social media, because I truly believe leading by example, and there is no way I can really put all those restrictions and all those, saying like, no, don't do this, don't do that, if I am not showing an example of how to use it, and so that I truly believe that social media can enrich our life, and this is my goal, really, to have fun with it, to enjoy the use of social media, to connect with people. I have a message to share. I really believe that what I have to share is valuable, and I would love to reach many people that could use and I know need my services. But at the same time, how do we, I don't even believe in the word balance that much, but how do we integrate that in our life so that it is a positive thing as opposed to a negative thing? So what happened? So I decided to take a break, and also one of the intentions for this year for me was to travel more and to take at least 4 trips or more away from our usual home and our usual place. So I'll tell you this, I'm really on track with that, with 2 trips already behind me in January. One is coming up next month and 2 more booked by the end of May. I am totally on track with my travels, which is why I'm telling you this. First of all, because to tell you that I'm know a thing or two about manifesting, and I'm really good in manifesting things. The second thing, though, is that while I manifested what I wanted, that at the same time left me even more overwhelmed when it comes to other things in my life, like business, like creation, like social media usage, like planning my social media content, all of that stuff. Because I'll tell you, if you're a fellow business owner, you know how much background work is required to, just even make one post. If you're not a business owner and you just use social media for your personal life, then trust me, it's a lot of work going behind those posts, and a lot of thinking and intention and time. So having said that, so I decided that I'm going to actually step away, and while I'm traveling and could share and could be on my phone all the time and doing Instagram stories and Facebook stories and posts and pictures and all of that, I decided actually to step away and not use my phone for that purpose. I was using my phone for making calls and connecting with family and friends, like very small circle of people. But other than that, I was out. So, and this is what my experience was. So first, it was really, really difficult. The habit of actually grabbing your phone and going on to any social media and checking this message and checking those notifications and whatnot is a real deal. So it was really hard. And then I kept reminding myself that no, step away. So then it became much easier, and I started actually enjoying myself. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what I've discovered. And then when I was enjoying myself and, getting that clarity and getting that peace of mind and other benefits, then it became really difficult to get back, which reminded me also of a personal development retreat I did a couple of years ago when we actually had to give our phones away for a couple of days. And that was probably one of the hardest things that I had to do. But at the same time, it really shows us how addicted we are to that device. And while again, I totally believe it's not all bad, because there's a lot of good things with it, and I will get back to it, but just having that awareness, understanding, and actually stepping back and seeing how we're using social media, how we're using our phones, so that it's a benefit to our life and not taking away from missing out on things that we're actually living and connecting with people that are in front of us or next to us, or actually really important to us, even if they're not next to us, and who we're connecting with. So, what happened? So what happened when I stepped away from my phone and wasn't using it as much? I found that I was definitely more present, and I was definitely more connected to the surroundings around me, to the people around me, and my brain was working slower. I felt that there was more space in there. I felt that it wasn't racing as much. And there were times when I wasn't really involved in a conversation or doing much. And I would just sit there, like for example, in airports, and I decided not to connect to Wi-Fi. And I was just sitting there observing people and situation around me. I know, what a shocker. Like, we're actually like looking around and not looking at my phone screen all the time. So that was very refreshing. Yeah, you've noticed people, you sometimes even talk to people, you find funny things, you find strange things, but it's life. This is life around us. So I found it really refreshing. And then on to my trips that I had in January, while again deciding not to use the phone that much, I had more time to read. I had more things to review. I read almost 3 books in the months of January, and a few other ones in progress. And I restarted the course in Spanish. I've been wanting to learn Spanish for many years, and so I restarted that course, and that was really exciting, and I love that. And I just found that more peace and quiet in that sense. While I was still, so then it became a question, okay, now it's time to actually get back, because I do have people that I connect with, and I have lived in 4 different countries, and I have an online business. So I use social media for my personal use because I love it, and I connect with people all over the world that many of them we wouldn't have been in touch. So if it wasn't for the social media, so I'm really grateful for that. And also, of course, having an online business is an essential part of my business. It's a huge part of my business, being on social media. So I do want to use it, and I want to use it to my advantage. And yes, selfishly so, to my advantage, because I know when I use it in the right way for myself, I know I will be able to serve so much better. And I've decided, so I was asking myself the following questions. And this comes to any kind of situation when you feel stuck and you want some clarity, right? It's all about, like, sometimes we're so close to what we are creating and what we're living that we fail to see the bigger picture. So stepping away from that to understand and asking the right questions really helps to get the clarity that you often want and you often don't have in a certain situation. Let me grab a glass of water. So I decided, of course, I want to use social media. So how am I going to do this? So first of all, I've decided that it has to be intentional browsing. There's no more. I certainly don't want any more random going and not knowing really why I'm there. But because really, it doesn't really matter if you have a business or not, but most of us have some sort of commitments in life, whether it's a day job or a household to run or a business or whatever it may be. So that kind of pointless sort of opening the screen and just saying what comes at me, being in a kind of reactive, which puts us in a reactive state, is really of no benefit. So my first decision, my first clarity was like, I want to use it intentionally. So whenever I open the screen, or whatever social media platform it may be, I will be asking myself a question. What is my intention? What is my intention of opening that screen now? Do I want to be inspired? Do I want to be engaged with people that I want to engage with? Am I going there to respond to all the DMs and PMs and whatever messages or comments on my posts? What am I going there with? Or maybe I just want to be inspired. Maybe this is something that I just want to find some inspiration, whether it's a dance video. I watch a lot of dance videos for inspiration, or I love some certain mentors that I follow, maybe some inspirational quotes, videos and whatnot. But what is it that I want to, what is it that I want to feel that I'm going to social media with? That was the first question. Let me just read the comments. I also have a son who is almost a teenager, and I'm sure will be on social media soon. Oh, you're lucky if they haven't been there already, because a lot of the apps, which was the constant argument actually with my daughter, she was like, I want to be this, I want to be Musical.ly, on Snapchat, on Instagram. And it's like, because, I get them too. First of all, it's like everybody is there, so the sense of belonging is serious, and they want to be left out. But and really, as a parent, I believe that the more I restrict and forbid certain things, the more she'll find a way to do it anyway. So whether even if she doesn't have a phone, there's access to social media through their friends' phones, computers, and whatnot. I can't not prevent her from completely using it. So my biggest argument was from, we're going to follow the instructions of the app developers. So if the age restriction is 12, you're not getting it before 12. And if the age restriction is age restriction is 13, that you're getting it at 13, and so on and so forth. So there was absolutely no lying, no using my ID, no making up your own age, or no making up a different age. So I was very strict on that. But once she hit those marks of that age, when the app was allowing to download under her account, then that was it. So then there's a conversation on how we use social media. But I'm gonna digress, because this is not really about that. This is a whole other topic of how you're using, how do we navigate the usage of social media with our children. So anyway, so intentional browsing and intentional and setting an intention, that was a big one for me. Then the time limit. So really set a couple of times a day. realistic, because really we can set ourselves to win, or we can set ourselves to fail. We are the ones, we are creators of our life, and we can create the life we want, and we're setting up the rules of the life that we want, the rules for our life. So if I set to myself 10 minutes a day on social media, that's going to be absolutely unrealistic. After a day or two, I'll feel like a complete failure. So there's no, it's not going to happen. So setting realistic expectations, but in realistic sort of time limits. I would say not limits, but guidelines. So I would trying to stay within that guideline. So for me, it would be a couple of times a day. I'm still kind of playing with that and seeing how it's gonna, it's all about experimentation. But really going into those in those time slots and using social media for a period of time. And that comes together with practicing discipline, because I hope that you agree with me. The usage of our phone and social media in particular is super addictive. It's at our fingerprints. There's so much stuff there. It is really addictive. So practice that self-control and discipline. I think it's not only going to be beneficial for me to, as far as the social media goes, but in other areas of my life, because how we do one thing, we do other things. How we do anything, we do everything. So having that intention, self-control in a way, and discipline about and keeping in mind what is really important in life and where do you want to spend your time. Because I have definitely been there, done that, of opening a social media, just quickly see what's up. And next thing I know, half an hour or more have passed, and I completely forgot what was my intention, what the task was that I was initially wanted to do, and why did I open social media in the first place. And I just standing there in the middle of the whatever room or anywhere in the car sitting, and half an hour passed, and I haven't really done what I really wanted to do before I opened my phone. So now all of what I'm saying is really, again, it's not about being really strict or too stringent about it. I get it. It's life. Things are going to happen. And again, this is like everything in life. When I came back, so my official comeback, I decided, which really it was yesterday. I made a post. Here I am. So here I have so much to share. I mean, my brain is working, right? So like, there's so much stuff that I want to share. So it will be coming a lot, and I'm creating a lot of stuff. So there will be a lot of stuff coming in the next couple of days, weeks, months, and so on. So all of those new rules or new intentions that I'm setting are there, but I know that it won't be perfect every single time, and that's okay. And as long as I remember those and refresh them in my mind, I know that I'll start again tomorrow, and you can try again tomorrow. And that goes to everything as well, right? Like, it's not just for one thing. Letting go of perfectionism, that's another big thing for me. Letting go, and you know what? It's okay. I have those rules. I have those intentions. But if I didn't do it perfectly, that's okay. But still, this is what I want to be, because I know, and I've seen the difference of how it's so easy to get sucked into this and get overwhelmed again. And that is not my intention. And so the next thing is that I really want to have fun and have fun with it, be easy. So it has to be easy and enjoyable. And that's another thing, right? Like, just to be less perfect when it comes to posting, and not overthinking my posts, and not overthinking of, all that content creation, because this is life. So, and because connection is so important, because it's so really authentic human connections is something that I absolutely adore and love. My next intention is to share more, and share more real stuff, share more less perfect, share more, just because I believe that that's important to share, and not wait until it's all perfectly done and good surrounding and good sound and good system and good everything, and it's just be more, but be easy on myself. But one thing that I'm very, very strict about is not to use social media or email, so anything online really, first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Now I'm specifically saying not to use your phone, because I use my phone for meditation. I use my phone for my affirmations. I use my phone for my yoga practice in the first thing in the morning during my miracle morning ritual. And I use my phone a lot for my, listening to books and audios and all of those things that I often do before bedtime. But not using anything online, and a very, very strict, about not using any online medium the first hour, at least first hour, usually for me it's first 2 hours of the day, and the last hour before bedtime. And that's something that the morning one is not an issue anymore for me. I'm pretty good with this and used to this, but the nighttime is still work in progress. I'm pretty good in a half an hour before bedtime, but I'd really want to extend it an hour before bedtime, because the main reason is whatever you do first thing in the morning and whatever you do last thing before bedtime is crucial, is what you go to bed with, what you wake up with, and it's just it's that circle that continues. So, and I definitely want to grow and be better and do more and do better and be, and grow as an individual. And that doesn't help me to do that. So those are the things, because if you are, when you open your emails, the social media, whatever, this is setting your brain straight away into a reactive mode and not proactive. And what you want to be in a proactive mode, because you have no control what is thrown at you. Now, I'll tell you this, if you're going to start setting your intention and setting intention of what you want to see in terms of social media, you will see that your feed is probably going to change, because it's a lot about energy. But if you don't, without setting an intention and just randomly opening your phone as the first thing in the morning, which many people do, you just roll over, you open your eyes and you open your Instagram or, whatever they prefer social media. And that's just like sets your brain in such a spiral of comparisitis, of, being reactive. You're not setting yourself in a control seat. And, now, being in a reactive mode is it could be really that's something that could lead to really bad mood, to potential depression. A lot of people like complaining, like depression is a real thing, especially in the younger generation, because they say, and a lot of it is attributed to the usage of social media. So the other thing is when you open, and that's first thing in the morning and last thing before bedtime, because those are such an important moments where you can train your brain to think to choose different thoughts. Because and I'm just going to stop there, because the thinking, we can talk about training your brain so much more, and I'll probably do another live just on that. But it really is important, because we repeat our thoughts day to day, and unless we consciously choose other thoughts and we consciously set an intention for the following day, and then in the morning for this upcoming day, we're going to think the same thing as we did yesterday and the day before. And another thing, even during the day, when you engage in a certain activity and you just kind of like, let's say you let's say yoga class, you probably don't take your phone, but let's say you're in a meeting or a dinner with people, and the person left to use the washroom, and you are, because the habit is like, oh well, I'm on my own for a couple of minutes, let me just check what's on Instagram or on Facebook, instead of actually sitting and observing life around you and enjoying the moment and taking in the colors and the smells and the surrounding and all of that life, like the real life. So we're opening your phone, and then you open your email or you open your Instagram, and you see some comment or a message or a post, somebody's post that completely throws you off. Now, what you just done, you completely taken you away from the fun that you're having during your dinner, and I'm telling you, because that happened, and you cannot go back, and then the person comes back from the washroom. Now, obviously, you're not going to be on your phone anymore, so you have to put your phone down. But your brain, all you're thinking is about that post or about that email that you received, and you can't even enjoy that dinner anymore. So having designated time of when you do certain things like designated time that you want for dinner. So it was an intention to go for dinner. Designated time to check your email. Designated time and intentional time to your social media, so that when you actually there, you are in a control seat and you can handle whatever you see there. And it's a completely different scenario. Yes, Yvonne, I'm totally with you. I'm only talking from experience, but I'm so glad that I took that time, because all of that became so clear. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be feeling overwhelmed all the time. So that contrast that I was feeling in the beginning of January was really great. And I'm so grateful for that now, because I'm coming out on the other end with a very different approach to how I use online mediums and social media. Okay, so I'm just thinking, was there anything else that I wanted to share? And I think that was really it. So I am hoping that was useful, and I'm hoping that you can relate to some of those things, and probably and try and see if those suggestions that I've mentioned could be something that you may want to implement in your own life. And yeah, it's definitely, for me, is really leading by example and making sure that I stay in a happy and good, in a happy mood, in a good state, and I am proud of how I show up every day, both in online and offline. So thank you so much for watching. Fantastic points to think about, can definitely relate, very useful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop me a message or a comment below, and I will see you again soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.